something we've all dealt with fairly recently, as I had a 100 or 150 followers when we started doing
Humble brag.
TTRPGs, and all of them were basically like Smash people, Nintendo people, video gaming people.
Splatoon.
We started the Percentile Vice Twitter from nothing in October, and we're up to around 200, 250 now. So
That's true. You over there have done a lot of reaching out and meeting folk. What did you do?
Well, I just got on Twitter in October as part of us doing this. I thought, okay, you get involved in uh, Twitter. So really, I just started scrolling through Twitter and like cool things would pop up and like, oh, I think I, and then you read that and you follow people. They don't all immediately follow back. And in fact, the
The ratio.
larger accounts and folks that are really active in the space, they do a really good job of not just following because you followed them.
Yeah.
Right? Is there going to be an interaction, right? And so, and they are very helpful and polite about explaining why they don't follow for follow, right? Let's make sure we are a good fit, that there's a good interaction for us. So reading that, I'm like, I guess if I want to get to know people and maybe get some followers of my own, I should interact. Right. So started interacting. I went and watched the things that they were doing, responding to their tweets. And when I saw something I liked, I try to be supportive of it.
Yeah.
You know, give them a retweet. Like, hey, I went and checked this this thing out. You ought to too. Give them a retweet. Hey, this is a really cool jumpstart that Table Cat Games has come out with for Street Wolves. You ought to go check it out. It's easy to do that because I liked it and
Right.
believed in it. But once I started interacting like that with people and just being friendly, talking to folks that were doing things I was interested in and supporting them if I could, then it all
Yeah.
started coming back to me too.
But that's a skill that you have that I have always been severely envious of. We would go to like car shows, and I would be like 20 feet from a car, be like, oh, that car is so sick. And you'd be like, let's go talk to him. I was like, I don't want to talk to him. You're like, no, we're going to go talk to him. And you just walk and be like, hey, man, Steve. And like, you can just talk to people. Like you'll walk up to anybody and introduce yourself, put your hand out and talk to folk. And I have never been that kind of person. So like even online, especially online, hard for me to just be like, hi, like Emily, like,
You want to be friends?
want to be my friend? You, on the other hand, have this like such an outgoing personality that you are able to just introduce yourself, talk to people, and I think that really lends well online. For me, I have the exact opposite. Like I am scared to even like if I get into somebody's stream and they like, oh hey, sister in darkness, I'm like out. No,
that's
no.
another thing too, being able to actually go into streams and interact with people while they're streaming or doing like the premieres that Carrie does is really good to see like how people are and what kind of circles they run in and what kind of things they're doing before you, I guess, not commit, but before you say, hey, this is good stuff. If they have a Twitch chat that's completely garbage and there's a whole bunch of iffy things going on in there, you don't want to
Yeah,
be there.
or it's such a huge account. Like, good luck trying to get involved in chat for Critical Role.
Yeah.
It's moving so damn fast, right?
Yeah.
But so I hadn't spent a lot of time, if any, watching anything on Twitch before about October. Right? And then saw things I was interested in, went and started watching them. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, I saw rather quickly the draw of it, because when you get that more intimate setting, this type of entertainment where you're not only watching somebody doing something to
You're
entertain you, but you get this feeling of connectedness, right? You just type in, hey, and
hi.
and the dude on the screen goes, hey, Rick Stevens, thanks for joining us. Glad
Hello
to have
there.
you here, man. Good to see you again. You
Yeah,
know,
no.
it's like, it the connection there is really cool.
I struggle with that. Like, you can ask John for years, like, he'll be like, "You wanna play with me, my friends online?" He'll put a headset on my head, and I'm silent. And his friends were like, "Is your wife still in here?" And I'm like, "Yes." Uh, and part of it is because I deal, like, a lot when I'm talking to people, reading body language and connotation to know, like, what I need to do next, and I lose a lot of that online.
Yeah,
I
so PV says in chat, he's shy in real life, and it's a bit easier for him online to just say, "Hey, that looks cool," and really all it takes, and he's right.
Same for me. I was an only child. Like, I can't walk up to people and talk to them, but online, I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, he will. I cannot I can do neither. I can do neither. I don't know why, but something about like, it terrifies me. I struggle. But, like, when we went to Chaosium Con, I could not talk to Bridget. She happened to be talking to somebody next to me and mentioned, like, she wished she had pictures or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, well, I took pictures." I tweeted them at John. She's like, "Are you the one who tweeted?" And, like, then now me and Bridget are the whole con. She's running up to me and she's like, "Hey, did you see this?" I'm like, "Yeah." But, like, as far as, like, going, "Oh, hi, I'm Emily," could never have happened. Could not have been me. If I didn't have a name badge on, she would have never known my name. I just I struggle.
So I'm a lot like PV in this regard. In Twitter world or on Twitch, it's easier for me. I mean, you talk about how I could go up to anybody at a car show,
'Cause I've
right?
watched you.
Because but there are still moments. I mean, you
Yeah.
brought up Chaosium Con. How long did it take me to screw up the courage to go up to Mike
A lot.
Mason and say, "Would you please sign my thing?"
Yeah.
And he was a very approachable guy. Great conversation with him. But I still have moments where it's
Yeah.
like, I really don't ever want to feel like I'm imposing on
I don't
somebody
wanna
or
be a burden.
bothering them, right? And
Yeah.
so that sometimes means I don't approach people who are very approachable and would not be bothered by it.
Right.
So, but in Twitter world, I mean, you almost get the feeling when somebody puts out a tweet that they enjoy the feedback of somebody responding to that tweet,
And
liking that tweet. So you're actually giving something instead of taking something.
it is
away.
really important on Twitter that if you tweet something out, it gets some sort of
Yeah.
reaction, whether it's liking, commenting, whatever, because it makes it go up in the algorithm.
Yeah, that's true. But, like, the level of my psychosis goes deep that there are times even on Twitter when I go to like something and I honestly genuinely think, "Well, is their phone going off gonna bother them?" Like, I just have severe social anxiety about that kind of stuff. Like, once you get to know me, I won't shut up. I will talk your head off, but those first few times, just awful. Horrendous. But I do think that you guys have a very good way of handling it. That you guys just see people that resonate with you, that have good content or things that you enjoy, and you just interact with them at the level that they set as the comfort level. Somebody who's tweeting out like, DM me for this, DM me for that, or just kind of statements, and you're kind of not constantly DMing them. Like, you're finding where they feel comfortable with that amount of communication and staying in that lane. I think that's a very good thing. If I could just take it to heart and do it myself, we'll see. But
PV says the phone going off won't bother him. You're fine.
thank you, PV. I appreciate that. Yeah. Even the interviews we had with people, the first few minutes before we start, like, my stomach drops out. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna be
Awkward.
so awkward. What am I gonna say?" And then they start talking. I'm like, "Oh, they're really cool. I'll talk to them." Just
So
ugh.
kind of just sum all this up. Like, here's Table Cat Games commenting in our chat, PV,
Yes.
right? One of the first friends, something more than a follower kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? That I made in this community. And it started because I saw a tweet of his about Table Cat Games, Street Wolves,
Yeah.
that he was working on and coming out. And I just went, 80s? That sounds badass, right? And he responded back and we talked a little bit. And the next thing you know, I'm following him and I'm watching and I'm waiting
Right.
for that jump start to drop. And same thing with Carrie, right? She mentioned that she was gonna do Deadlands, like right at the time we got on in October, and she's hyping that in January, I just started following. I'm like, I can't wait for January to come. But it's just something I was interested in, and then start engaging with those people.
But you also found a group on Roll20 that you play with. Did you find them on Roll20 or did you find them through something else?
So
that looks like maybe you don't want to tell me
no,
the
it's
story.
just a weird
Pet life.
OnlyFans?
There is a YouTube and streamer that I first got interested in called Crit Academy.
Mhm.
Justin Hanlon. Great guys. They do a great show. I found them by accident because when we started getting into like 5e and everything, I had been hearing all about Critical Role.
Yeah.
Critical Role this, Critical Role that, right? And so I sit down there and I go look at some of this stuff that and I forgot what the name of it was. It was just Crit something, right? And so I typed in there this thing, Crit Academy, and I was like, I think that's it. And I started following
But headlong.
and watching. And they just do stuff like this. You know, they have a weekly show where they talk about content and advice and stuff like that.
And you've talked to some of the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten writing credit in one of
You have.
books.
You have. You've gotten a lot of stuff in their books, haven't you?
So not a lot,
But a couple things.
Couple things. So then I joined their Discord. In their Discord, this guy comes on and says, "Hey, anybody interested in playing online game for Chris Strahd?" Okay. That was 2 years ago, and me and 4 other folks have been playing.
Yeah, that's
together.
epic.
And that brings up a pretty decent point. Like, it doesn't just have to be on Twitter.
No, there's Reddit, there's Discord, there's the local game store if you can brave it. Our local game store doesn't do a lot with TTRPGs. It's much more card games. So I don't know that our
They
local
do
one.
do a lot, but we just never go to them because we have kids.
That's fair.
Yeah, they do Adventure League on like Wednesdays.
I guess last time I was there,
Do a lot of
mostly
Warhammer too. Decide yet whether I'm interested in it or not.
It's a tabletop game.
I think if
so-
we let ourselves be interested in it, we would. But it's one of those things where we've chosen to like that other website instead of Roll20. The other one, like we're trying to not look at it too hard because you know you're gonna like it.
There's another place to throw all my money at.
Toss my money away. There's a lot of options, and like me, most of mine comes from just knowing people in real life. Like, I have family members and friends of family members, and there are people that I call my aunts and uncles that have literal no blood relations or married relations to me at all. But if you ask me about my Uncle Bill, I'm gonna be like, yeah, Uncle Bill and Aunt Debbie, like, because they are my aunt and uncle. But I have played at their house D&D so many times, spent whole summers there, and that's formative years for me. I remember what their garage looks like, point for point. Haven't been there in 20 years, but I know. You know, and so there's lots of ways to build it, whether it's in real life, it's Twitter, it's Reddit, it's the game store, it's wherever. It's getting out of your comfort zone and saying, hey, what you playing? I think that's what it boils down to. Hey, what you playing?
TV. Ours does a lot of D&D, but I think Steve has played Starfinder there before.
On a free TTRPG day, I played a Starfinder and a Achtung Cthulhu, which is Cthulhu mythos, different rule set in World War II. That was really cool. There were about 4 or 5 other tables of other games they were playing. Which what I wish they would do is then expand that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
We tried out these new games on TTRPG Day and gave you some free swag for them and everything. Well, then
Keep it
maybe
going.
put some of that play into your play space.
Because it feels like the other 6 days.
I mean, I would go there and run a Call of Cthulhu one night a week.
Have you asked them?
If they paid me enough. No, I haven't. You know why? Because what we were talking about before, if I feel like, maybe I'm going to be imposing or somebody and making somebody feel uncomfortable or whatever, but I've thought about it. I've sat there talking with the owner of the shop as I'm buying stuff, and we've gotten to be good friends. I walk in the door and he's like, hey, Steve. And he's like, hey, Norm. It's like cheers or something. But no, I haven't had the guts to say, hey, can I run a Call of Cthulhu game up here?
You never know. We used to play Smash Brothers and Marco's Pizza in Byron. There were literally
That's
3
true.
booths in the thing, and somebody had went up and been like, hey, do you mind if we play Smash here? And they were like, sure, most of our business is delivery anyway.
Yeah.
So you have like 20 stinky kids sitting between the bathroom and the ordering thing and playing Smash. But it is sort of harder to connect with people on Reddit
It is
at
hard.
times because there are so many people, and it's a lot easier to find bad eggs on Reddit.
It feels like it, yeah.
But by that same token, if you're promoting something, I feel like Reddit does a better job than Twitter does.
I have not gotten into Reddit. I've gone a few times when you've posted something to go check and see what you've posted and, support your posts. But I don't understand the structure of it.
I
So,
understand the structure of Reddit.
subreddits, how do I don't know.
Yeah. I understand the structure of Reddit. I do not understand the structure of Discord and or Twitter. I am very lost with those two things. But John gets on Reddit every day and just reads the front page news, and that's how he learns all these random things that he knows, is because Reddit just feeds it to him as a
Yeah,
stream
Reddit is
of info.
probably like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's very eclectic.
He's very eclectic.
And there are much more eclectic people than me on Reddit.
Yes,
Much
the
more.
wide range of things that you would either be interested in or find amusing.
Yeah.
I can imagine what your
There's a
front page looks like.
there's a couple sides of Reddit John can tell you about later that you might be interested in, but
My
Got a
favorite,
sound effect for that one.
no,
Ba-dum-bum.
my favorite is Risa, which is the Star Trek meme subreddit. Spend a lot of time there if you haven't noticed by my desktop
Yeah, you got-
wallpapers and whatnot.
I like the explain it like I'm 5 one,
That's pretty good
where
too.
they just take a really complex topic and then they explain it to you like you're a 5-year-old. I love that shit.
And they have very complex rules about things you can and cannot do when explaining. You can't use a certain number of syllabled words and
it's
yada
really
yada.
serious and it's great.
There's another one called Ask Historians, where
Ass kissed.
Ask Historians.
Horians, yeah.
My bad. But you ask a question and it has to be answered academically, with sources, primary sources if possible.
Wiki-ish.
No,
No.
more in depth than Wiki.
Whoa.
It's crazy. If you ever really need to know something that you might not find in an actual history book, go there. It's probably been posted.
Are you on the Savage World subreddit?
I believe
He was just commenting on how surprised he was at
I'm
how
gonna
good
have
his
to go join
promo
it.
post did on that. I'm like, oh, there's a Savage World. Maybe I got to figure out this Reddit thing.
he and I have interacted
Oh.
more than once on Reddit. One time when we did the interview with him way back, I had posted the Jumpstart stuff up and he found it and was like, hey, thanks for playing. And
But it's you're a Reddit wizard. You picked up to Twitter so quickly.
Oh gosh.
You do such a good job. I just have to find whatever digital platform I can do well in.
TikTok.
But I don't post the TikToks. You do. They just come across my screen and scare the shit out of me when it's my voice coming out of
I
my
only
TikTok.
post the TikToks because you haven't yet, but you know the platform better than anybody in the room.
Yeah, but I don't know how to make things.